Greetings and welcome to Magic with Tamala Farron. I'm going to have a small discussion on what people actually think and what things actually are, okay? I find that when people refer to folk magic, they either treat it like it is something so dark you can't talk about it, or they make it almost like the bottom lower level of magic. Oh, that's just folk magic. Well, we've got news. See, folk magic just does not belong to specific countries. All countries have folk magic. Folk magic is earthen magic that is crafted out of the simplistic things that are around the home. They are from the countries they come from. They are considered most sacred. And one of the reasons that some people get it twisted about, well, that's a lower level magic, it's not. See, way back when most pagans, witches, were in the community, they usually worked the farms. They usually were out of town. That way they could do their gatherings and their sacred temples and witchcraft and whatnot, and not have to be judged by others. The simplistic view of folk magic that some people have don't give it the justice it's meant to have. Like I said, every culture has folk magic. Every culture. And sometimes it's a blend of a couple of different beliefs. Sometimes it is and has been going on for hundreds of years. So it's a tradition handed down. And sometimes, if you really think about it, the oldest ways are the simplest, and sometimes the very best. Magic is from within the heart of the witch. So if you are using items around your home to make magic, if you are working two different spells, blending them together, that technically is folk magic. If you are using symbols and sigils and talismans and charms and it's all about folk magic. Being true to not only a culture, but to give it the honor and respect at the age it is. Most people think that witchcraft came around in the 80s. I've had that happen, ask me, "Oh, you're hereditary? How? I thought it just came out in the 80s. Okay, there. No, it did not. It did sprout a lot in the 80s, but no. It's been there for a very long time. In my family, we have German folk magic, Quaker. We have Irish. Again, there's folk magic in that. I'm part Native. I am part Shoshone and part Cherokee. And the medicine that the shamans use, a lot of it is folk magic, handed down from father, son, mother, daughter, for generations. They're absolutely phenomenal. And I mean, it's Pictish. It's the simplistic that gives so much meaning. Because it's technically not really simplistic. It's just, these are the items, the magic that when you are brought into the craft and you are, or you're raised in the craft, if you have folk magic embedded in your traditions, these are the spells and the works of the craft that you automatically memorize. Why? Because you can connect it to so many different things around you. And it tends to stick in your head a lot easier than a large ritual. Even though you still work it outside or on your altar or within your sacred space, it's just, I want to say, more primeval, I don't know the word, kind of like the oldest methods are passed through. The olden days. I know, I'm old enough to say olden days. But it's so embedded in our society even today. Simple things, traditions, superstitions, protections, symbols, sigils, simple words that knock on wood. All this stems from older times when things were a lot simpler when it came to magic. There weren't witchcraft stores everywhere on every corner. There may be one or two women that you went to see in town or outside of town to get some help, or your family practiced, or you went to a beautiful, wise old woman and you asked her to teach you. Then you learned. And it all goes through nature and very easy and understanding I mean, as you're putting something together, you don't have to look at the paper or the book or whatever twice, because it starts to fall into place even as you're working it. And it is so phenomenal, because in my family, like I said, Quaker, my great-grandmother, but she brought in the folk magic, the German folk magic aspect. And as I think it was in my mid-20s, I found a book, read it, called my mama up, said, "You need to read this. I think somebody knew our family." And she laughed. I said, "No, I'm not joking." It's called The Hexcraft, and I forget who it's by now. I will put it in the comments below. But anyways, it was so close to home. I mean, even my mom, after she was reading it for a while, kind of looked at me and went, "I didn't know other people did this." And I was like, yeah, I wasn't expecting it either. It was like a book written on my family, but it was only from one small strand of the family that all that German folk magic blended in with everything else. So it became unique even yet once again. But to hear the words and hear somebody else doing what my great-grandmother used to do, it just floored me. And yeah, folk magic is sacred. It is the most unique aspect of the craft. And when I say that, I mean because you can blend it and change it and work with it and connect it to so many different things. Oh, I don't have that herb, I'll go get something else that means or feels the same. And it just keeps going on and on. But people change folk magic easier than the magic that is, I want to say traditional, but that's not even the word I want to use. Where high ceremonial practices occur, you won't see a lot of the folk magic come up throughout it. And folk magic is basically the laws of the land. It is handcrafted to achieve the goals desired. And I can tell you right now, some of the spells that I work today are 200 to 300 years old. And it's because folk magic lasts and tends to last a lot longer than the type that has to be transferred without any change, or it's a constant repetition. You can't decipher anything else in or take anything out of that ceremony. It has to be exactly as is. Where folk magic is true to what it is. And a lot of people said to me, well, you don't practice hoodoo. And I said, didn't really have much of a choice. I grew up in a French household with native traditions. I had Irish traditions, French, German, plus native. So it was quite common for me. It was quite common to work up folk magic and not think twice. And I honestly believe as calculated and orchestrated a specific aspect of the craft can be, adding to it and continuing on with leaving the that one door open so that you've got so much more that you can utilize into your craft. So leave that door open in case if you find something or you sense something coming along your way. And putting it through with whatever else you do. See, that's the thing about hereditary. The magic comes from all angles and is blended and built upon that with new stuff created. So when people say, oh, no, we're blue bloods of the craft. No, you're not. You're actually the mutt of the craft because you've got so many different aspects that you're pulling through to blend and work together and utilize, that your library, if you will, holds so much more in depth than one little book that is classified, the non-Christian Bible. But it's something that is very good for especially bringing up with children. Teaching them as you go. Letting them pull stuff together to work. With all the new ideas and everything that you could possibly want to put into the craft. I love teaching. I love sharing what I do. And when people sit there and say, well, what's the difference between hereditary and traditional? What's the difference between this, and this? Everything is how you personally achieve it. Because there isn't really anyone that has the same exact everything. Yeah, we can get the same spells out of books or that have been handed down for centuries. But when we start building on it and blending and working with it, we start building on our own energy and power to give on to the universe and to help heal and love and transition all the negative. It's so important that people realize that they have to have enough confidence to be able to step up and actually work the magic, not just read it. And I think that's one of the reasons folk magic is so alive. Because when you're blending different cultures and you blend in the simplicities of nature and use the goods that are around you rather than going to the expensive stores, I think tend to do more magic. It's enticing. It's honest up front and really good for the soul. So, those of you who think that folk magic isn't worth it, oh yes it is. Folk magic is amazing. And it's like a tea. You can have regular tea, or you can blend a couple together and get more benefits out of it. It really works. You have a lovely evening. I've got more videos coming down, but I'm going to go get myself another cup of tea first, and then we'll work on a couple more things. So, you take it easy, click like and subscribe. Many blessings, as I will so mote it be.